Hi, Nick.
Hi, Kyle.
How you doing?
Oh, just peachy.
It's good to see you.
Good to see me, isn't it?
It's always good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Oh, yeah.
On a short notice, actually. Had a guy cancel on me this week, so this worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
This worked out pretty good. I know I was going to talk to you, what was it, yesterday or day before, when I came in there to get you scheduled, and he texted me yesterday morning. He goes, "Sorry, dude, I hate to do this, but I gotta cancel." And I'm like, "Sorry, I get it. Shit happens. You know, we live in a world where anything can happen at any given moment." So I'm like, well, once I blew that hose on the truck, I'm like, I gotta go in there. I'm gonna see Nick. I'll see what he's got going on. See if he'd be available this week. So
Glad it worked.
yeah, worked out. So for those that don't know, you are a service writer at the local John Deere dealership. I'm not going to use the name, but the name is on your shirt there for anybody that wants to know. When I was at Deere, that's when you started. You actually started in parts and then ended up moving over into the service department.
Yeah. So you actually trained me when I first started there. Mm-hmm. God, that feels like a long time ago.
It does feel like a long time ago. Well, I mean, that's been what, 6 years ago?
7 come August.
7 years ago. So how long were you in parts before you moved over into service? Or when did you move into service, I guess?
Oh, gosh. I think it would have been 2021, summer of 21, right about this time of year.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was before I left or I think it was in the talks because I left in August of 21.
Yeah.
I think
you were there when I moved over. We made a little bet. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
I got into your wallet.
You did. Oh, well. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Hey, I can always go back for seconds.
You could. Or maybe I get my money back. Oh, that's right. You're paying me to be here, right?
Yeah.
So how was that first, because obviously from the parts department, you're taking phone calls from guys that need the parts to fix their own pieces of equipment, whether it's a lawnmower, combine, tractor, planter, baler, whatever. So now you switched over to the service writer position. Talk to me how that transition went.
So I would say smooth and rocky, kind of all at the same time, just really depending on what the situation was, I've always been better at, being at the computer doing some of the clerical work, I guess, if you call it. So even today, that's kind of what I do. So I do a lot of scheduling, keep them working in front of the guys in the shop, dispatching truck drivers, calling customers, hey, piece of equipment's done, let's get some payment arrangements made, or hey, this is what we found wrong with it. This is roughly what it's going to cost you. Do you want to proceed with it, not proceed with it, and just kind of help them make the best judgment. That way, we don't risk throwing good money at bad on something.
I agree with that. I think that's a big problem in today's world is people are like, oh, it's been a good piece of equipment for me, but you go, yeah, but look how much money you're throwing at it.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's time to cut the cord and move on. Because the one thing I want to talk about is the computer systems are completely different. From the parts side of things to the service side of things.
Yeah.
But being that you're a younger guy, you're the younger generation, you probably picked up on that pretty quick, no?
Yeah. I mean, I probably help the boss man a little bit more often than not.
No. You're welcome, boss man.
That very near and dear friend of ours.
Yeah, because and I'm sure it's not a complicated system, but it's just a different system.
Yeah, it's really not complicated once you get the hang of it. I mean, obviously when our organization went through an acquisition from another dealership,
correct,
there was some minor changes, that we kind of had to learn. But honestly, after the first month or two of it, I grabbed onto it pretty good.
On both ends of it then, too. Not just moving over into the service department, and then once the new ownership was acquired, it took you an extra month or two to get situated in how they want to do things? Or?
Yeah, they just had some different processes, different ways of how, we might code something, say like a 9000 series tractor, you want to use a 9R service work job code on, compared to, your 4440s, 4755s, we got different codes for that. They just, at the end of the day, make the invoice look nice and clean, make the write-up look clean. I tend to be pretty nitpicky on that anyway, because I don't like, grammatic errors in that. So I'm kind of chasing that all day long. But, it's like for the kind of money these people are spending on equipment, it's like I want it to look clean, nice, well
professional.
Written out. Exactly.
You want it to look professional. I mean, because you guys are professionals, right?
Exactly.
That's what you guys are. No matter if it's working on a lawn and garden tractor, a push mower, and everything to a combine, everything in between. You guys are professionals. You need to know what you're doing, and when it goes through you, because you're the. So, do you make the work orders then when you get a phone call? So, for instance, hey Nick, Kyle here. I got my 1025R out here, and it's got, for instance, it's got I believe it has a rear main. Engine seal leak on it. So how does that work when you get a phone call like that?
So typically the first thing that we want to do is, get as much information from the customer as we can. That's the biggest thing. From there, we want to see what we look like on scheduling. Might say, hey, we can pick this up in the next couple days from you, or hey, we're just swamped right now, man. It might be 10 days, 2 weeks, but we're getting you on the list. We're getting you a spot in line. To where at the end of the day, we're going to take care of you. So typically when we put the work order in, that's just kind of your information that I took from you. That's kind of what we have to go off of. I tend to try to dig a step deeper, see, okay, was this machine bought here? Was it bought from another John Deere dealer? Was it bought secondhand? Make sure that we have the correct serial number of the piece of machine. I don't want to.
Yeah, because serial number is big thing today.
Oh, absolutely. And that all ties back to your warranty. That's what tells us if you're going to pay for this or not.
Well, not only warranty, but it also can tell you what specifications that piece of equipment might have.
Tells you the exact build date of the machine, what options it had, the engine serial number, component serial numbers. I mean, it is really, really important that we have that.
Yeah, because with like my little tractor, they've been making those engines for 30 years.
Right.
So when you get the serial number from my tractor, I don't have to give you the engine serial number. I can give you the serial number from my tractor, and you can type it in there and go, oh, okay, it's got this style engine in it, and it's got this style transmission in it, and it's got and the bigger stuff, it's got these axles that are in it, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, which is a big thing to know when you're trying to diagnose or when you're trying to fix something.
Yeah,
early on.
And of course you can fall back on this too, even in the John Deere parts world. That was a really, really important thing, not only just on the service side, but that side of the business as well.
I've noticed that it's not like a car lookup, right? When you look up, so like if I was to type in a serial number in any of these parts lookups for my pickup truck, it tells you exactly what options are on that thing. Is John Deere's, is their parts lookup better than that? Because it didn't used to be.
No, they're on the right path with that on some of the later model stuff. Obviously, you look up a 9500 combine.
Yeah.
That ain't going to matter. No. Now, you look up an 8370R that was built in, 2016, 2017, you might have your results narrowed down a little bit.
It's going to narrow them down, but it's not going to tell you exactly what was on that tractor. Unlike, if they're moving forward to that today, that's something they needed to do 20 years ago. But hey,
they're getting better.
They're working on it.
So,
sons of
I couldn't even help but laugh. A few weeks ago, I finally got the first paint chip in the back of my car, and I called the dealership to see if they had touch-up pens, and just said it's a hydro blue, whatever. Oh, well, we need the last 7 or 8 numbers of your VIN. I'm like, I just told you what color it is. Oh, we just want to make sure. Well, I'm telling you, it says hydro blue right on my sales order.
There's a meme going on around online out there right now, and it's got a guy in a store that says, I need 2 feet of 3/8 fuel line, and the parts guy behind the counter says, what's your year, make, and model?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
That are like you see the car engulfed in flames, when you put 2-wheel drive wipers on a 4-wheel drive vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Stuff like that's going on, and it's just like there's some truth to that. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some truth, but at the end of the day, it's like, come on, you gave the person all the information on what to do. Go get the son of a bitch.
Yeah. I definitely think the obsolete parts are kind of where, we hit the brick wall at. I mean, it is very hit and miss working on anything older, whether it be a piece of equipment, a car, a four-wheeler. I mean, a buddy of mine up in Minnesota, we just went four-wheeling here Memorial Day weekend up in Duluth, and he brought one of his quads up there. This thing, I think, was made in 2006. Wasn't even Can-Am. It was Bombardier.
Oh, nice.
A rally. Thing runs like a top, but I mean, my big ass, that's all that little thing wants going up a hill, But we got back to his place after the trip way up north in southern Minnesota, and he said, maybe you should buy this one off me. I'm like, I don't know, man. And he's like, come on, I'll make you a good deal. I'm like, I'll give you $300 on the spot right now for it. And he was almost insulted. He's like, the thing is worth more than that. It's like new, man. I'm like, dude, that thing's 20 years old. Like, I'm not going to be able to get parts for this. If shit goes south on it, I mean, sure, I can, but it's going to be a lot of time spending on eBay, Amazon,
Looking for the stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those things that once you kind of know where to go,
right,
it does narrow it down.
Yeah.
I mean, look at these old car collectors. They got certain places that they go. Old tractor collectors, they know certain places they can call and certain websites they can go to, and unless it's something like super unique,
right,
then it might be very difficult to find. But in today's world, with the internet and networking and all that kind of stuff, it's not terrible to find obsolete parts.
No,
because even you guys at the dealership, there might be a part that's obsolete, but you've got several different places you can go to look for it.
Exactly. Whether it be your Colfax tractor, your boneyards, your other sources that we can get the obsolete parts from. Hell, there might even be a dealership with one on the shelf.
Exactly. We've seen that before. Yep. Many a times.
Usually they'll say, I'd be happy to let go of that for you.
Yep, because it's been sitting here for 20 years and be happy to get rid of the son of a gun. Let's see. We kind of wandered off track there. So now you call me up and say, okay, Kyle, just confirming, we're going to pick your tractor up on Tuesday. Everything good to go? I say, yep. So you pick the tractor up, gets back to the shop. What's the process from there?
So from there, it gets worked into the workload that's currently in the shop by one of the technicians. We diagnose it, figure out what the issue is. Typically, if it's a warranty situation, we've got to make contact with the right people. We got to verify that it's warrantable. I don't like surprising people with a bill because I don't like being surprised with a bill. So Correct. If there's an instance of, this is kind of on you, then,
you're making a phone call.
We're going to have a different conversation with the customer.
And if it's on warranty, then obviously you guys get to work.
If it's warrantable, we do what we need to do, turn in our paperwork, we make the repair, call the customer, get them the piece of equipment back as fast as we can.
And same thing, you're going to fix it and get it back to them as fast as they can once you get the go-ahead.
Right.
So let's just say this wasn't a warrantable situation. You're going to call me up and say, hey, Kyle, the rear main seal's out on your tractor. We looked up all the parts. We know what the labor is going to cost. This is what your bill is going to be. Do you want to go with it, yes or no? And I say, yeah, man, kind of need it. So then, boom, the work gets started.
I get off the phone with you, and we get parts coming for it.
If you don't have them in stock already.
If we don't have them in stock already.
Yeah.
We got a lot of parts there now.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Compared to the last couple, 3 years?
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. There's been some stuff I've looked up. I'm like, we stock that?
What? I remember looking up a lot of parts, and I was like, we don't stock that? We should stock that. All right, I'll get one in the morning for you.
Yep.
Costs you a little freight, but at least you'll have it in the morning. How's the so do you pick and choose what jobs go to which technician, or is that more on the service manager to do that?
We kind of share some of that. I'd say about 85-90% of the time I know my limits. Now, if I'm going to question that to myself, like, who do I really want to give this to, then, we're going to get the boss man involved on that, and let him make that final decision.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Keeps him in check, too.
It keeps him in check, right. Uh-huh. More like keeps your ass in check. That's what it is.
My ass stays out of hot water, man.
Yeah.
Try to anyway.
You try to. And I get it. You know, what a lot of people don't realize is in dealership situations, especially ag or lawn and garden and things like that, is you're never going to make everybody happy. And whether that's an employee that you work with, a coworker that you work with, a customer that you're working with, you're never going to make everybody happy. You just got to kind of do your very best at what you can do. And I'm sure you've probably thought of some things and have learned some things on how to make sure that stays that way.
Yeah, you know, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's a very demanding job, a very demanding industry to be in, you know. The ag industry in general, whether it is your local implement dealership, whether it's your seed salesman, your chem salesman, you know, your co-op that you're dealing with, you know, it's very demanding.
Yeah, it's one of those that spring and fall, you know what you're going to be doing. And it doesn't matter what part of the farming industry you're in, whether you're hauling LP to all these guys that have grain dryers, whether you're a milk hauler and you're picking up milk every freaking day or every other day.
Right.
Spring and fall is going to be your busy time, no matter what. And for a dealership, it seems like you're busy also during the summer because there's also everybody's cutting hay. So you got your hay equipment that's coming out. Everybody's spraying for their crops. So now you got your self-propelled sprayers and your pull-behind sprayers that people are breaking down that need fixed ASAP, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. You know, and then throw a wheat harvest in the mix of that too. That'll get you running around for a week, 10 days.
Or longer. Mm-hmm. And then in your guys' situation, once the grass starts growing, now you have all the lawn and garden customers that come in.
Exactly. So it really kind of comes in from every direction, you know, whether it be on the service side of repairing that equipment that they're using currently, or, you know, hey, this thing is toast. We need to really think about doing something different here. Maybe upgrade some equipment.
Do you tell customers that, like, you got somebody that brings in a lawnmower and you know, because you guys have yearly checkups and oil changes and things like that. Help me with programs.
Service programs,
thank you. You guys have that. Do you see something come in and one of your techs start looking at it and go, man, this thing's worth $750 and we're going to throw $1,500 into it? Do you then turn around and tell the customer, hey, this is what we're seeing, what do you want to do? Or do you just say, if he says, just fix the thing, do you fix it? I mean, how do you go about doing that?
You know, every situation with that's kind of its own unique one. You've got some people who might be, for whatever reason, you know, nearly and dearly attached to that piece of equipment, and they will say without hesitation, go ahead and fix her up, you know, and that's still, I try to have that conversation with folks, you know, this is where we're at. You know, this is kind of what it's worth, roughly. You're going to be putting X amount of dollars into it. You know, for maybe this much more, you know, just a little bit more, we can get you into a new one.
Or a new used one,
exactly.
Or whatever.
You know, and I really try to emphasize on that, you know, that I don't want to see that customer throw good money at bad.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, because let's just say it's worth $1,000, you're going to throw $2,000 into it. And now all of a sudden, you can go out in the showroom and buy one for $4,500 that's compatible
and have a warranty with it.
Spend the extra $1,500, put that over 3-4 years of payments.
Yeah.
So it's not cash trapping you, and move on from that old dog.
Exactly.
Because I know that when people are mowing their yard and their lawnmower breaks down, man, is it a bad day for them, especially if they really like mowing.
Yes, it is.
And you're a guy like me that just says, get it done so we can move on to something else.
Yep.
I don't want it to break either. Get it done so I can move on to something else.
I've got a walk behind mower at home, and every time I mow, I'm like, this sucks. Get it done, and then you're done.
Then you're done, move on, and the next week you can hit it again.
Yep.
Shoot, there was something else I was going to ask you. Then we got on the subject of not wanting to mow. How you guys right now? Are you busy? You slow? So?
Sporadic. So there's some busy spurts and then slow spurts. So really just kind of depends what the demands are, you know. So I do think right now it's probably a really good time if some guys wanted to take some well-deserved, well-earned vacation time, you know, get the heck out of the shop. Go do something fun with your spouse. Go, take a vacation, even if it's stay at home, go in the pool.
Staycation.
Yeah, a staycation. It's something, It's like, I always try to live by the motto, work to live, not live to work.
Work to live. Right. Yeah. 100% agree with that. Some people aren't that way, though.
No.
Some people aren't wired that way. Some people they need to go to work, and that's just what their drive is, and and hey, if that's you, my hat's off to you, but there's more to life than just going to a place and putting your time in.
There is, and I'm not that guy where it's, the clock's going to strike 5:01 and it's going to be, adios. Hey, tonight, before I came here, I got a phone call. Hey, I need an AC compressor, the valve, the air dryer, all the O-rings, whatever, for a 4430. All right, no problem. Can you bring them home? Yeah, I'll do her. Another $900,000 ticket, right there at quitting time to the company. You're taking care of that customer. You're not shutting them off, because that's going to just put a bad rap in.
Oh yeah, I remember some evenings it was 7:00 before I'd get out of that building. Those days suck, 'cause it's like, all right, everybody knows we close at whatever time, 5:30. Here I am at 7:30, and I'm still here. And it's like, I get it, but like you said, it's the demanding part. When I put my foot into something, I'm going to do it. That's just the way it is. And
yeah.
So when I was in that parts counter and behind that parts counter and people were like, hey man, I need help. Well, all right, I'll help you. Just remember this for the future though. Because, I got a life too outside of this place a little bit.
And a lot of these customers have been pretty understanding with it. Most of these ag customers in the area anymore, they've got our contact information. Hey, can you set this out, or can you run up and open the place up? And I've kind of said, hey, if I'm available, I'd be more than happy to do it. If I'm not, if I'm doing my own thing on my time off, I'm not doing it. Don't ask twice.
Yeah. No, I mean, and like you said, I've been treated well in that aspect when I was there.
Yeah, and these guys that we're with now, they do a really good job taking care of us when it comes to that kind of stuff.
That's what they should do too, because at the end of the day, you're making a customer happy, and if the customer's happy, they're going to come back. Whether it's for a new piece of equipment, whether it's for parts, whether it's for service, they're going to come back again because you went above and beyond out of your way.
Right.
Which I think that's what really sucks about like car dealerships.
Yeah.
You don't get that feeling with them. Mm-hmm. It just, the feeling that I get, it's just like, we're here for you to do business with us. We're not here to make your life easier.
Right. I got to be honest, man. I bought my Jeep here about a year and a half ago, and I went in on a Tuesday night, I think, and started looking at a couple different models. I was dead set on an SUV. Just, do we want a Jeep? Do we want a Ford Explorer? Do we want a Chevy Traverse or GMC Terrain, something like that, And at the time, Mom was still working for Chrysler, so went for...
Got the green sheet.
Yeah, exactly. I got employee pricing with the Jeep. I think I drove about 3 different models that night, and it was like a Tuesday night. The last one I drove was right in the showroom. I asked the sales guy, I said, hey, do you guys have one like this outside with the same engine, same, creature features, whatever, that I can test drive? And said, oh, no, we'll pull this one out in the showroom for you. I'm like, you ain't got to do that, man. It's almost closing time, for God's sake. And they're like, no, we'll get her out. We'll get her out. So I think I drove this car like 4 or 5 days, took it home on a Tuesday, and drove all over freaking Boone County with the thing. Saturday, went back down. I'm like, well, let's get some paperwork rolling and look at some numbers. So I swear, man, I was there till about 4:00 in the afternoon that day. And I got there right at whatever it was, 9 when they opened up in the morning. And I was like, I'm just burnt out, Like, I signed a bunch of documents. I'm like, what the hell did I just do when I got home? I'm like, shit, now I got to pay for this damn thing. And
when I bought my truck, it was the same way. I bought mine 2.5, almost 3 years ago now. Went to the dealership on a Saturday, and I was there 5.5 hours.
And it's like, and for what? We don't do that to people.
No, hell no.
get in there, pick out what you like. We'll answer every last question you got on the thing. We're not going to waste your time.
It has taken me, hours and hours to sell a piece of equipment, but
Sure.
I'm not sitting there being the one like, oh, you got to sign all of this paperwork. And then the one nice thing I can say about when I was in sales at Deere, and I don't know if it's still this way today, but back then it was, I was the finance guy. I was the salesman. I was everything right then and there. You go to a car dealership, the extended warranty guy, I was all of that. It was me, myself, and I would try to, hey, okay, this is the tractor. It's $10,000. Do you want the extended warranty? This is what it covers. This is how much more do you want it? Yes or no? No. Okay, perfect. We have 3 different choices of financing here. We have 0% for 48 months. We have 1% for 60 months and 2% for 84 months. Which one would you like? Here's your payments on all of them. Okay, great. Let's sign paperwork. It was done. You go to these car dealerships and it's like you deal with the salesman on a price. Okay, you sign the paperwork. And then you go see a different person on extended warranty, which takes half hour. And then you go see a different person on, financing, and then you got to Jew them down on the percentage of the financing. It was just a freaking nightmare. When I got out of there, I was like, I never want to buy another car from a dealership again.
I honestly, dude, I got home and I was like, man, it's Saturday night. Maybe we'll go take the new car out, go somewhere, get a bite to eat, whatever. I'm like, hell with this. I'm going to take a nap, honestly. And it's like, even still, you're spending however many thousands of dollars that you're doing business with them. And it's like, and you're going to waste my time and say, oh, well, we've only got one person who's writing paperwork today on the busiest day of the week. I'm like,
I get it. Sometimes, right, people take vacation, people get sick, whatever. I understand that part of it. But then make sure that there's somebody else in the dealership that can chip in and help.
Exactly.
Whether that's the salesman who's selling the car, whether it's a manager, make sure there's somebody there that says, hey, I've got 4 deals going right now. Can you take one of these to help me out? This is the current deal that's going on. These 3 are still in contact over there on this and this and this. I can work on this. If you want to get this one done, we can move forward. We can speed this process up for the customer.
Yeah. They told me, oh, it's going to be about 2 hours. And I left. Granted, my house was 10 minutes away from the dealership, but I need to get this car cleaned out that I'm trading off to you guys. So I went home, cleaned the car out, took all my property out of it. Oh, we even went to the bar, got a bite to eat and had a beer, went back, and I still waited for about 20 minutes before they got me through.
I didn't even get that. They're like, it just took them that long to get from one step to another step to another step. It just seemed really unorganized. Plus, I was an hour away, so it's not like I could just come home and I bought my truck over north of Chicago over there.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what the hell? It just was not a fun, pleasant experience where, at an ag dealership or a lawn and garden dealership, I tried to, especially when I was in sales and I was the one behind the desk, I tried to make it as easy and quick as possible.
Yeah. And it's a little bit different, buying a car versus buying, a new lawn tractor or a new piece of equipment.
Agreed.
Your everyday consumers coming in wanting the lawn and garden equipment, that typically 99% of the time, they're happy, they're excited. Hey, we're going to get something. It's going to be a good quality piece of John Deere equipment, So we do our absolute best just to give them as much of a positive experience as they can, not feel
Agreed.
like they're getting, the wool pulled over their eyes, just why? You don't want to do that. I don't want it done to me. I'm not going to do it to you.
That was the way I always looked at it too, is, I want somebody blunt and upfront with me when I'm buying something. That's the way I was when I was behind the desk.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing you just brought up that I will say. That was the one big thing that I can say going from the parts department to the sales department was a huge morale thing. Yeah. Everybody coming in to buy parts, man, this thing broke down. This thing's a piece of shit. You guys ain't got the parts. 90% of the people that come in to buy something, they were excited to buy. They were happy. They were smiling. And that's just a huge morale boost.
It is, and it makes total sense. You're not spending money on something that you don't want to spend money on, in the instance of walking into a parts department, whether it be a Deere dealer, an automotive store, anywhere like that.
Yeah.
Now you're wanting to go buy a new toy. That's a little bit different.
Everybody's always excited to buy a new toy, whatever toy that might be.
Yep.
Whether it's a side-by-side or a tractor or a car or a firearm, whatever. You buy a new toy, everybody's always excited to buy a new toy.
Right.
Hey, we got to take a quick break.
Sure.
This podcast episode is sponsored by Dan's Diesel Performance. If you're looking to improve your truck's performance, efficiency, or appearance, check out Dan's Diesel Performance. They manufacture turbochargers, fuel injectors, fuel pumps, transmissions, intake piping, and much, much more. Plus, they offer all the top brands in the diesel industry. They're located in Machesney Park, Illinois. Visit their website at dansdieselperformance.com or give them a call at 815-977-5865. All right, we're back. Someone had to go to potty break.
Kyle.
Might have been me.
Damn it, Kyle.
Yeah, this ice water just flowing right through me, let me tell you.
Sounds like old times, doesn't it? Damn it, Kyle.
Yeah, I've heard it before. I'll probably hear it again. There's no doubt about that. So what are you doing in your personal life? Anything exciting?
Oh, I'm swimming through the cesspool of dating, man.
Yeah?
Oh, God.
How fun is that?
You know what? It's a love-hate relationship with it. It really is.
Yeah, why is that?
You know, you find somebody, you know, who's like, oh, my God, she is like top shelf in my eyes. You know. And
so out of your league.
I wouldn't say out of the league, but it's something I'm like, I could maybe make something happen with that, and you get little to no response. You might start talking, and then day and a half later, we just kind of go separate ways. You get some loony ones in there, you know. I had one that was I was talking to. She was from other side of Crystal Lake. And we were talking. We talked for probably a good week, 10 days, and I just got a message out of the blue saying, "Oh, I gotta go." I'm like, "Everything all right?" "No, I'm not all right. I'm just upset. I'm never getting married. I've never had kids." I'm like, "Whoa, time out, sweetheart. Like, we're just trying to talk and see where we can maybe go grab dinner at Saturday night. You know, like we do not need to go down that road right now." So, yeah, it's been very touch and go, you know.
And I'll be honest, it's not even something I look at often. It's once in a while, like maybe I get a couple beverages in me and I'm like, oh, let's see what's out there today.
Right. And I got to be honest, too, like you know, the Tinder, the Bumble, the Hinge, and all these other ones that are out there, man, it's like at the end of the day, they're all one and the same. It's like,
oh, absolutely.
Why do you want me to pay money to talk to somebody, you know?
The only thing that I'll say, and I am no expert on this at all. This is just my flippant opinion I'm going to give, and that's just it. I think a website like Match is a better website than is a better app than all the ones that you give. And I'll tell you the reason why, because they go off of personality as well.
Yeah.
They go off of things that people have in common, that people like to do, activities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's not the one I'm on. I'm just saying, if you listen to the commercials and you read what they do, it takes you, I don't even know, however long to fill out your application.
Yeah, it's like,
because they're asking all of these questions. Do you like sports? No, I don't like sports. Do you like to read? I like to read. Do you like the ballet?
Zodiac sign? I don't fucking know.
June, man. June. That's my zodiac sign. But when you look into something like that, that makes more sense to me, because all of these other apps that you just made, your first impression is your first picture.
Yeah.
It's it.
There's
nothing else. It's your name, your picture, and how old you are.
Yep.
So if you look at something and go, nope, I don't find that person attractive, and you swipe, well, maybe you don't find them attractive now, but once you get to know the person, maybe you do find them attractive.
Yeah. You know, and I even the one that we've been trying out here lately, it's Facebook dating. So the best way I can describe this, if you haven't seen it before, it's, you know, think of a less shittier Tinder almost. Okay.
A less shittier Tinder. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's better than Tinder, but not by a lot.
Exactly. But it's something. if you have a Facebook account, doesn't cost you anything, whatever. And actually I've probably had the best luck through that. But at the same time, you got to go through all the rigmarole of name, age, interests, where are you from? How far do you want to reach out to talk to somebody? If I say within 50-mile radius, why are you showing me somebody from California or South Carolina?
Well, you got to remember, too, it also goes off their phone. Maybe they're visiting from
I suppose
California.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So don't forget about that, because everybody's got their location on their phones now. So they could be visiting. They could be here in business, whatever.
You never know.
That's why it's popping up. We're not that far from Chicago. So
no, we're
if
not.
you put in a 75-mile range, Chicago, there's one of the biggest airports in the United States. Yeah. Don't forget about that.
I'll actually be in downtown Chicago this weekend.
Yeah?
Yep.
Do anything exciting?
We are going to Joe's Bar on Weed Street for a concert.
Who's playing there?
It's a group called Old 60.
Old 60.
They're, how do I want to say this? You ever listen to Co Wetzel before?
I've heard the name, but I've not listened.
So this group kind of gives me some Co Wetzel vibes. A good buddy of mine said, hey, you want to go to the show? The tickets for like $20-$25.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Joe's is reasonable.
I'm like, I don't care. Let's go. So I had to jump on Spotify and be like, all right, who in the hell is Old 60? But it should be pretty exciting.
I got a buddy of mine that just reached out to, and he's like, hey, you want to go to this concert in November? It's these guys and these guys. I'm like, I don't know who the hell they are. Like, let me listen to them first before I say yes. It's in November, so we got time. But I was like, let me look into it a little bit before I just say, yeah, what the hell?
Still kicking the idea around. Thought maybe I could fly to Vegas at the end of the year, see Shania Twain. That'd be a really nice show to watch.
Yeah. She's one of your favorites, if I remember right.
Oh, always has been.
Yeah. See? I still remember all that stuff.
Sometimes
Remember all that stuff. 60% of the time, every time. I love live music. So for me, I think my new go-to place now is going to be Nashville.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's expensive, but every bar has got 3 levels of live bands. So if you don't like the band that you're listening to, walk up a set of stairs or go down a set of stairs, and maybe you find one you do. You don't like anybody in that bar, move to the next one. There's just so much great live music there. I could listen to it all day. And
I've been to Nashville, I think about 3 or 4 times now, and don't get me wrong, there's some repeat bars that we go to, ones that I've enjoyed or somebody in our group's enjoyed. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it seems like you can always go hit up a couple new ones that you haven't been into each time.
And it seems like Broadway. They're building new ones all the time. I mean,
yeah.
Eric Church's one just opened up in March or April.
Yep. Morgan Wallen's just
opened.
Morgan
Wallen's is going to open one up. There's one other one that's going to open one up here before the end of the year. So they're always adding new bars and stuff down there.
Yeah. And sure, the food's overpriced. The drinks are overpriced, but it's like you're paying for the atmosphere because of where you're at, Yep. And honestly, every time I've gone down there, I try to veer off of Lower Broadway, go do something different. Sure, maybe it could be related to all the music stuff and whatnot, but it's like way back, I think I was in high school yet, go down to RCA Studio B where, a lot of these old time people had recorded your Merle Haggards and all those folks, and you can see how some of that equipment was set up, what it looked like, 50, 60 years ago, so it's cool to see.
Yeah. We actually did one of those hop on, hop off bus tours. You ever done that?
Yep.
That's really cool. They take you to like 13 or 15 different places in Nashville.
Stay as long as you want. Yeah. Hop on a bus when the next bus comes through.
Exactly. And every bus comes around like every 15 or 20 minutes. So you can hop off. You can spend 2 hours there. You can spend 15 minutes there. Jump on the next bus. Go to the next stop. That was pretty cool to see too, because that shows you a lot of different places outside of Broadway and things like that.
Yeah. Matter of fact, that we did do that the last time I was down there. Dad wanted to go down for his 50th birthday, so me, him, and my brother, mom, and family friends of ours here around this area, you know who they are. big honking group of us who went down, partied for 3 days, and I've got some pretty sweet pictures.
That's the only crappy part is when you go down there, you tend to party a little too hard, and you tend to stay up a little too late, and
it was actually kind of cool though. Same buddy of mine from Minnesota has relatives about 30 minutes outside of Nashville, and it's a cousin of his, and her husband actually has recorded music. He's played on Lower Broadway.
Wow.
So we were actually, our hotel was in their town that they live in. So they came down to the hotel, they picked us up, we hit a bar up, right there in Mount Juliet, and then it was like, all right, let's go party for Dad's birthday. So we all jumped in the truck with them, and they drove us down to Broadway, said, you guys are on a vacation down here, have as much to drink as you like, we'll get you back home safe. It was pretty awesome, actually.
We were within walking distance is where we stayed.
Yeah. My folks were within walking distance. Well, kind of. I think my dad stopped and leaned over a bridge once or twice maybe on the way back to the hotel. And
yeah, you're going to have that.
Yeah,
you're going to have that.
It's, Nashville's kind of like Vegas. Just some things that happen there just stay there,
And on both places, I've been to both places multiple times now, Vegas and Nashville, and they both offer something different.
Yeah.
They're both very enjoyable. It just all depends on if you can't hear and you don't like live music and you can't hear people talk in the background, Nashville probably ain't for you.
Exactly.
Vegas probably is. In Vegas, you can walk around Vegas all day long and not spend a dime and just look at the architecture and people watch and just enjoy yourself.
I mean, doesn't the Bellagio put on like some big fancy fountain light show at night every night?
Oh yeah. I mean, several times. I think it's like every hour on the hour or every 15 minutes after the hour, something like that.
I haven't been yet, so it's on the list here. Then the next year or two, I'd like to get out there.
It's fairly cheap to go out there too, especially if you fly out of Rockford.
Yeah, they do like some Sunday and Thursday special.
Sunday, Thursday, or Monday, Friday, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, 3 days in Vegas is God's plenty, really, I would think.
Yeah, if you've never been, the first time I ever went, I spent a week down there, but we had some family friends down there, so we went and seen like the Hoover Dam, and we went and ventured outside of Vegas too. So the first time we went, and that was too long. 7 days was too long because we flew out of Rockford and it was whatever, Thursday to Thursday, Sunday to Sunday, whatever it was, and it was too long. 4 to 5 days your first time down there if you want to venture outside of Vegas, that's awesome. Yeah. The second time you go, 2.5, 3 days is plenty.
Yeah, it's a good weekend trip.
Long weekend.
Yeah.
Good long weekend. In my opinion. My opinion only, but plus they got shows up the kazoo down there. Magic shows and music shows and any whatever you want, it's there.
Yeah, well, now, too, look where the Super Bowl was just hosted at here earlier this winter. It's like, so what's going to come of that? Not even so much just like for shows and, who can they get in there? Maybe they can get some high-end performers in there for concerts,
Oh, absolutely. Well, and they have high-end performers down there now. You just mentioned Shania.
Yeah.
She's got her own.
She's doing a residency tour.
She's got her own thing going on down there. And I think like Britney Spears was, when I was down there last time, Britney Spears, I think, was down there. There's been a Cher, I think, was once there. And I mean, they got some big name people that are there. So it's not like going to Nashville where you don't know any of these people and they're playing music. They have big people that are playing music down there.
And honestly, though, like it is fun to walk into that bar in Nashville, watch this group that you've never played or heard play before, and they're just singing one country hit after the next. Maybe it's some you like, maybe it's some you don't like. But like you said, if you don't like what they're playing, just walk up the flight of stairs or walk next door.
I remember seeing Eric Church at the Coronado Theater in Rockford.
Really?
Yep, that was the first time I ever seen him in concert. I must have been just 21, so it would have been 2009.
Nice.
It was the first time I ever seen him in the Coronado Theater. What's that hold? 800 people?
Yeah, not even
700 people. It was small. It was compact, and then once I seen him in there, I was like, "This guy's going places." Now look at him.
Yeah, it was funny you mentioned that. Even last was it last year? Yeah, February of 23. Same thing. Went to Chicago for a big rock concert. They had like 4 different bands there. You know, it was Hollywood Undead and Papa Roach, and like it's stuff I grew up on. You know, so I was like, hell yeah, I want to go see them. And later that year in 23, Papa Roach went back on tour and actually came to Rockford to the Coronado. And I'm like, I'm going. I don't care if I go alone. I am going. You know, that was the time growing up again, like one of my favorite artists. You know, so it's kind of cool to like listen to him play some of the old stuff and reminisce on that, you know, and listen to some of the new stuff.
In a small atmosphere.
Exactly.
That's what's cool about that. Because the Coronado Theater is small, so...
It's small. The drinks weren't overpriced. That's the other nice thing, too.
Like
for a concert, I should say. I think a beer was still probably $7 or $8, but...
Nashville, I think they're 12.
Yeah. A summer shandy was like $12.50 it was up in Minnesota a couple years ago. Seen Eric Church there with Morgan Wallen at the U.S. Bank Stadium, the Viking Stadium. I was like, my God.
Yeah, but you're at a stadium too, so they got to get their cut.
They do. It was a pretty new stadium, so they put some markup on them drinks to pay for that place.
Oh yeah. And any sports stadium that you go to, drinks are always going to be higher. Mm-hmm. I don't care if it's for a sports game or for a concert or anything like that. They're always going to be higher. At least in my experience in life.
That's why you pregame before you head there.
That's right. Get that buzz going good and strong before you walk through them doors.
Find yourself a DD and get that pregame going.
That's what they make Uber for.
Honestly. I used the shit out of Uber when I was in Nashville, Milwaukee, Chicago, anywhere.
Nashville, I use the little motorized scooters.
I've been on them.
They're fun.
Yeah. They've got those in Rochester, Minnesota. Kind of by the Mayo Clinic campus, so there's actually some pretty cool architecture to see up that way, though. Too, I mean, for a clinic like that, and that hospital in particular.
Well, it's one of the best hospitals in the United States.
Yeah,
that and UW-Madison, in my opinion.
Yep, without a doubt.
What else you want to talk about? What else you want to hit?
I don't know.
We got to talk another 10, 12, 15 minutes yet.
10, 12, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know. You doing anything exciting this summer? Coming up? Anything?
No. I thought about it, but no. No. I mean, I got a goal one of these summers, springs, falls to go deep sea fishing.
There you go.
I went when I was 18. Loved the hell out of it, even though. Yeah, I love the hell out of it. It was just It was awesome, and I've gotten the itch to go back and do it again.
There you go.
The problem is it's not cheap. I mean, you can fly to Vegas for a whole week and spend less money than what you could do to go deep sea fishing for a day or two. So it's just one of those, like, just saving a little bit every day. Wait till I get enough to where I say, okay, now I'm going.
All right.
I was hoping that was going to be this summer. I don't think it's going to be this summer. Maybe next summer. Because I want to go catch me like a freaking, 700-pound grouper or a 400-pound marlin. I want to go catch something that's significant.
Make it worth your damn while.
Damn right. Don't get me wrong. I like catching bass and northern and stuff around here, but I want to go catch one of them.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, we got some things. I kind of got to stick around here for a while, just for. I'm not going to get into it, but I just got to stick around here for a little while.
There you go.
I got to make sure that I'm going to be able to be called upon and reliable here for the next probably 3-4 months. So by that time it'll be fall, and then it'll be snowing again, and I won't be able to go anywhere because we got to plow snow. Someone's got to keep. Yeah. Someone's got to get you to work every freaking day at plows. You're welcome, by the way.
That's the state that plows that road you're thinking of.
You take 173 all the way in?
Some days. I switched it up. Some days I'll take 173. Some days I'll take flat iron.
Yeah, well, then other people get into work.
Mm-hmm.
But we got a lot of projects and stuff at work that we still got to get done yet and that we're working on. So how about you? Big plans?
I don't know yet, honestly. I'd like to try to get back up to Minnesota at least one more time here.
That's not too far, though.
No, at least while the weather's nice out. I've gone up there before, first part of December once the crops are out of the ground and whatnot. And it's like, I'm just fucking around for the week. It's
Yeah.
like we're not doing shit. My buddy owns a business up there, pressure washing business, doing like garbage trucks and mail trucks and that sort of thing.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So, well, ever washed outside of Minnesota in the wintertime? It sucks. And it's kind of interesting. There's a technique of that, a certain way that you've actually got to like move your wands up and down, or side to side, just to keep the water from freezing on the truck. So that was interesting.
No,
Kinda
yeah.
see.
I mean, I never really thought about that. I just assume like garbage disposal companies had their own guys do all that.
No. He's actually got one of the bigger names out there for garbage
No
companies.
kidding. That's pretty cool.
Waste. So, and I believe he's got a couple different locations that he goes to. Matter of fact, when I did go up there to see Eric Church and Morgan Wallen, my buddy ordered the tickets. Yeah, they're like $200. I was like, cool. He's like, I'll just bring the cash up to me, whatever, when you get up here. Sweet. So I get up there. And he says, yeah, if you want, you can just come to work with me, wash for a day. He's like, I won't charge you for the ticket. I'm like, I don't care. Whatever. It's pressure washing. Hell yeah, I'll do it. And, here I am. I'm getting shooken up at 4:30 in the morning. He's like, hey, we got to go. I'm like, what the hell? So jump in the pickup, head down to the shop, grab the tank truck. Here we are and pulling into the pit, 5:30 in the morning, middle of June. Weather about how it is right now.
So
fucking hot.
So it didn't smell at all.
Hot garbage and coffee at 5:30 in the morning, Kyle. It sucked. Yeah, that is right. And let me tell you, these garbage trucks, I didn't even have to wash. That was the funny part. So there's like 50 or 60 trucks there. Well, you had to pull these trucks up like just to one certain spot where they want you to wash them at. And so he's like, I'll wash. He's like, just keep rotating trucks. Bring a truck up, take one back, These things are just as fucking gross on the inside as they are the out.
Yep.
You look up and I'm like, why is it moving? Oh, that's why. Like, the maggots are just feasting. Oh. Yeah.
I can only imagine.
I don't think you could pay me enough money to do that job.
There's pros and cons to it, right?
There is.
Just like every job out there's pros and cons to it. The pro is it's his business. He's got it. He's already got the customers.
Yeah.
Now it's finding the help to do it.
Yeah, and I mean that's almost anywhere you go though. Right now, the help is just it ain't there.
Yeah, I've heard that from several different people. They're like, yeah, well, they're a body that's here. Well, keep searching till you find a person that's not a body that's here.
Right. It'll come in due time at some point. It will.
Yeah, I think we're getting to the point in society where, oh man, how do I want to word this and not sound like a complete asshole? I think we're getting to the point in society where people aren't doing the hard, dirty jobs anymore.
No, I
But
agree.
they want to make a ton of money.
So they don't want to do that hard physical labor job, that maybe our parents and grandparents and great grandparents did, that's exactly what it is, stare in front of that computer screen, that phone, or just, do little to nothing, but hey, I want you to pay me $125,000 a year to do it,
I'd love to make $125,000 a year, man.
Both of us, man.
But someday we'll get there.
Hopefully.
Or we won't.
Hopefully. I mean, it sucks right now, whichever way you slice it.
We're in a weird time.
Yeah.
It's really, really weird.
Even right now, I'm not looking super hard at houses to buy. I'm like,
no. Hell no.
And of course I get some kickback from it of, that was a different time than when we bought a house. And it's like, all right, boomer, you bought your house for 7 fucking strawberries.
So here's the thing, right? I actually have done a little research on this.
Yeah.
So say 40 years ago when somebody bought a house, it doesn't matter what they bought the house for, how much money they were making, the mortgage payment every year was between 30 and 35% of your net income. Okay?
Okay.
In today's world, it's like 60% of your net income just for your mortgage payment. That just shows how money is. People make more per hour, obviously, than what they did 40 years ago. But the housing market has jumped up so much higher than that now, where it's hard for somebody who doesn't have any money in the bank to go out and put that on the line.
Exactly. And then you can turn around and say, well, I'll just rent. But then you look at the price of renting, whether it be an apartment, a townhouse,
they're $1,500 a month.
Yeah. And it's like, why would I do that? Granted, it's just me and the dog, no kids, no wife or nothing, but it's like, oh, you're throwing money away at that point.
Well, it's like this place. Once I took the money that I had, once I took the equity that I had in my old house and I put it down on this house, I can't rent an apartment for what my mortgage payment is on this place.
No.
I'm going to go farther than that. I can't rent an apartment for what my mortgage, my taxes, and my insurance are on this place. Why rent?
Yeah.
You're better off telling your mom and dad, hey, I'll pitch in for groceries. I'll pitch in for electric because I'm using all this stuff too. Mm-hmm. Let me stay here for a while. I'll throw you an extra $150 or $250 a month, whatever. Let me rent my room. Let me rent this room, eat some of your food. I'll pay for some of this stuff. You're going to be so far money ahead when this market turns around.
Yeah.
Because it's going to turn around. Trust me, it's going to.
I
don't know
think
when.
After November, and I don't even really care which way it goes.
It'll be before November, I think.
You think so?
Yeah. I seen a TikTok or somebody, TikTok or Reel or YouTube, whatever. There's a realtor in down south, and he's saying right now, since after the first year of COVID, so since 2022, he says we have more inventory on the ground right now than we've had in almost 3 years.
Wow.
As a realtor. So the housing market is starting to, it's peaked, right?
It's peaked and it's
starting on a downhill. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. Just the shitty part, it's like, man, I really don't want to live on this side of the state line. I like where, this area is at. I like where I work at, so it's, I don't necessarily want to pack up and leave town necessarily, but it's like everywhere I've looked where I like, it's like, good God.
It's big money.
It is. Take, Lake Geneva, for example, awesome place, nice town, it's small, but yeah, there's, everything's a higher priced, it's higher rolling
because
up
it's
there.
Lake Geneva.
Because it is. And it's like, and why is that? What is the need for that? To price gouge?
I think it's the area, right? It's definitely the area and what they bring to the area.
Sure. And, it's like, I'm not looking at houses that are sitting right on the lake.
Well, come on.
No.
Money bags like you? Shit.
I don't make that township kind of wages.
Oh, yeah. You want to switch them any day of the week, you just let me know.
But still, it's like, my God, man. And you can't hardly get anything cheaper, even just going a little bit outside of that area, whether it be Walworth, Pell Lake,
right.
Twin Lakes, anywhere in there, Elkhorn. You're starting to come down a little bit, but now you're getting further and further and further away from work too.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to try to find that happy medium is what
35 minutes is already enough.
Right. For some people, I mean, think about it, dude. There's people that travel to Chicago every freaking day. And some take the train. That's an hour and a half ride there and an hour and a half ride home every day.
Well, and plus however much further you're going too, once you get back in your car at the train station.
Exactly.
It's like
that's 3 hours a day of just.
I wouldn't want to know what your monthly expense is on just commuting to and from work.
Well, that's the reason why people go to Chicago.
Well, more money.
A hell of a lot more money.
It's a lot of damn money that you're throwing away.
Yeah, it's all got to be on the black, though. As long as you're in the black, you're doing good. The minute you start getting into the red, that's when you got to start looking at things different.
The old Jeep gets about 28 to 33 on the highway, so we're doing all right.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No.
That's not bad for an SUV.
Just a little 2-liter turbo engine, 4-cylinder.
4-cylinder?
Yeah, nothing special.
Hey.
I didn't want to pay the extra $7,000 for a Trailhawk, so we went with the we went with the Latitude Lux.
Those Trailhawks are cool.
They are.
It's funny. Everybody's like, "Oh, EV's the way to go, and we're putting turbos on these things now to get better fuel economy. And Dodge goes, can we put a Hemi in a minivan?
Yeah.
Yes, we can. And that's what we're going to do. It's just like, what? I like you. I like you, Chrysler. You're doing all right.
Exactly.
Well, Nick, man, thanks for coming out on short notice to sit down and
Absolutely.
shoot the shit. And
Thanks for having me.
give a little insight and what you do for your job every day for people that don't know, and all this other bullshit miscellaneous information that we talked about. So
It's fun on this episode of Shooting the Shit, wasn't it?
yeah, it was.
Oh, that's the wrong podcast. Hanging out with K-Dub.
That's me, K-Dubs. All right, dude. Thanks for
All right.
coming. Until next time.
Absolutely.